Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to create an accordion with React.js. So basically, what is accordion? Accordion is like it's a specific section where you can toggle between the datas. What do you mean by that? That's so simple. Think that you are in a Netflix site. So there is something called FAQs. More specifically, frequently asked questions. So let's just say that. I'll just maximize this. Netflix.com. So if you come down this, so here is something called frequently asked questions. So if you click on this, you can just see there is an answer for this question. Yes, when you click on this, there is the answer disappears. You can just see when I click on this, that not only the answer comes, even the icon changes. Okay, the plus changes into the wrong mark, I mean the X mark, whereas the X changes into the plus mark. What do you mean by that? So this is called the accordion, where you can toggle between the datas. So today, using React.js, let's see how we can build an accordion. Not like to this, we will create our own accordion. Okay, so now I'll start the React.js. So let's start it from the documentation. React.js.org docs. So create a new React app. So okay, npx create React my app. Now I'll go to the new folder and I will make a new folder called Accordion. I'm sorry, I just want to rename this. In this accordion, I'll open the command prompt. So npx, so because my Node.js version, so just see here, if the Node.js version, I mean the npm version is greater than 10.6, sorry, Node.js version is greater than 10.6 and npm version is greater than or equal to 5.6, you can just use npx instead of npm. So I'm gonna just use npx create React app. We are just saying it accordion app. So this will give the what you call the React templates to build our app. So it will take some few time. Okay, now our React.js app is set. Now all we need to do is change the directory to accordion app, then npm start to start the development server. In the similar way, let's open this in our code editor. That is, I'll go to cd app, then I'll open this in our Visual Studio Code. Yes, I need it. Yes. Yes. It is starting the development server. Now, what I have is I have this node modules, public and source. So from the source, I will take the app.js, I'll take the index.js, I'll take report web vitals across this. What's this? I don't want this. Then setup test.js. For this project, I don't need any of this except the app and index. So index, so app returns this default app to the index, which will be what you call reflected in the main development server. So you can just see that there is something called div with an id root. So this root will be replaced by the functions present here, and app.js will, okay, app.js is the place where we start building anything, and index.js is the default exporting file for the main HTML file. Now what I'll do is I'll just delete this report web vitals and setup tests because I don't need that. Accordion app, so source, I'll just take out app.test.js, then report web vitals and setup tests. Now what I'm going to do is deleted. Now we have something called this thing, right? So I'll just show you. Okay, logo.svg, index.html. So I'm just going to take this div and I'm just going to return something called, okay, so div hi, we are going to build an accordion section. So here let me stop this development server and let me open the terminal here itself. Okay, now npm start. So we don't need this logo anymore. Next we have index.js. We don't need report web vitals in the index.html. Okay, everything is fine. Yes, oh sorry, yes. Now what I'll do is I'll import React. I will import React from React, okay, and in the index.js too I have imported. Okay, now starting a development server, that's cool. Okay, I is not defined in line 5.1 index.js. Okay, I'm going to just take that. Report web vitals index.js. Oh, sorry, I didn't take this. Index.js error, I is not defined. Okay, so now we have this thing and we are just saying hi, we are going to build an accordion section. So that is from app.js, we are returning hi, we are going to build an accordion section. From, okay, we are just going to create another file called let me call this as what do you call, let me insert different questions and answers to this. So I'll call Q&A.js. Here I'm just going to create an array const array of questions is equals to, it's an array of objects. So I'm just going to create like, okay, so I'm just going to create question is, and answer for this is answer. So this is one object. Similarly, I'm just going to create similar objects here. I'll just create some 6 questions so that it will be easier for me. I mean, not easier for me, it will be attractive. So 1 or 2 question doesn't look great. 1 2 3 4 and 5 with its last object in the array is 6. So I have 1 2 3 4 and 5 and 6. The question that I'm gonna put here is, I'll just say, okay, what is Google? Okay, okay, I'll just take this question. What does Google mean? I'll put it here, and what does Google mean? Oh, sorry, this is Google. What does Google mean? Sorry for that cat, which is sorry for cat of my home. What is Google? So we can just copy this thing to the answer. I'm sorry. Oh, so I'll just modify this because there are many quotations, because of which okay, now I have one question and one answer. Similarly, I'll take another question. What is YouTube? What is YouTube? I'll just paste it here. What is YouTube? I'll copy the answer from here, and I'm just going to create another object taking what is Gmail. So I just take this and I'll just copy in this question object, I mean third object of the question. Then I'll just take this, and for the answer section I'll just take this. We're left with three things, and what is Gmail, YouTube, Google. Then I'll just use what is Facebook. Okay, we should be great at the Facebook because the React.js what we use is by Facebook. What is Facebook? Okay, so we should be great at the Facebook because the React.js is originally developed by Facebook. Now owner of React.js. Okay, React.js Facebook. So you can just see here, it is maintained by Facebook and a community of individual developers or companies. Okay, and now I'm gonna just ask, what is LinkedIn? I'm going to just paste this question here. Paste this question here, and just going to copy this question query here. Then what is LinkedIn and what is LinkedIn used for? No, that is not a perfect question. What is LinkedIn and what is Instagram? I'm gonna just copy this question and answer for this. Okay, I just copy this answer here. Okay, now in the Q&A.js we have an array of objects in which each object contains a set of data, particularly a question and answer. Now let us import this Q&A.js into app.js. So before importing we have to export this. So this is array questions. Let's export going to say default, oh sorry, default array questions. Okay, so import result from, I'm going to just say Q&A. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is I'll declare a state value preferably, so that I'll import here, I'll import use state, use state from React, and I'll take const what is that result, right? So we're just going to accordion, and I'm just say accord and set accord. So I'll initialize it to use state. So basically we are going to take this array Q&A. So we have imported Q&A as result. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so here is my index.css and app.css. I just want to delete the app.css, which is nothing of use. Then I have my index.css. Okay, so what is this app.css? App.css failed to open. Why not? Okay, let me see app.js. So import. Okay, so now I have my own file here, style.css, which I will be taking it here. Okay, now because I have my own CSS file, instead of saying app.css, I'll just say yes, style.css. You can just see that. Now how we are going to build an Accordion section. So in this, I'm just going to add a class name wait is equals to container. Okay, now here to in the index.js, instead of saying index.css, I'll just say style.css. In the container, we are setting something, we are returning something called hi, we are going to build an accordion section. So I'm just going to bring this style.css here. We have the container to be more specific. Yeah. So this CSS file is basically from John. I forgot his name. His name is something Smilga, and I have the div with a class name called container. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create another div. Okay, now here actually you can see that I'm using use state and I'm passing the result, which is basically the whole array. So now I have to loop inside the each object of this array and grab each element. So what I'm going to do is I'll just say okay, return. Okay, what I can do is okay, I can do this thing, div okay, where am I? Here is my face, not visible. So what I'm going to do is I'll say accord. So I'll just say this as accords, set accords dot map. Okay, I'm mapping each accord. Then for each accord uh, what I'm going to do is console.log accord dot I'm sorry, question, and I'm sorry, and console.log, I'm sorry, accord dot answer. Okay, let me see this in my console. If I go to console, accord is assigned as state value but never used. Okay, where is this accords dot map for each? Okay, okay, so line 12 and 30, maybe from app.js, it is saying that okay, it expects a return value. So what I'm going to do is I'll just say return. Okay, what may I return here? I'll make another file called question, or like faq.js. So I'll just import React from React, then also use state here because we need it, and use state from React. Now I'll just make const, what may I call this? So let me call this data required. I'm sorry, it's a callback function. Then I'm just going to return some h2 containing the hi. Okay, now export default data required. Now I'm just going to import this. So import data required from FAQ. Okay, so this is not a callback function. Yes, it is, but oh, I missed this in the FAQ.js. Now use state is defined but never used, no vars. Just okay. Now we have this beautiful background because now we have something called hi. Okay, now we have this beautiful background as we are using our own style.css. What I'll do is, so this is a callback function. What I'll do is, for every accord present in the accords, so basically accords is the, we're using use state and passing the result. Basically result is the array of Q&A. Then we are mapping this accords, basically we are mapping this array and bringing out each object and passing it to the data required, and I'm going to just say ... and accord. Basically what it says is everything present, every data present in the accord, just pass it to the data required. So we can just see that we are getting high, 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 and 6 times high. Okay, let's ignore that error for now. So we are getting I'll just do this. So we are getting 6 highs here, because for every accord present in the accords, which literally means for every question present in the object, present in every object of this array, we are getting high. Okay. Now since we are passing accord here, the data present in that accord object is question and answer. So basically I think you got what is accord. So basically accord is every question here. How? So okay, we are importing this default array questions. Okay, let me not confuse you. We are importing the array questions as result, but let me import that array questions itself, and that array questions I am setting it to the accords, which is basically a state value. Now I don't need set accords here because I'm not setting the default values to anything more. Now I'm returning a div with a class name container, in which let me just do this to h2. Okay, so in which I'm saying we are returning a div which contains a class name of container, which is basically a container div, and in the second div I'm mapping this array questions. So basically my array questions is stored as a accords state value, and accords is basically an is basically an array. You can just see that const accords question string answer string. You can just say it when I hover over accords. When I hover over the accords, you can just see const accords is an object of array which contains the, you can just here const accords is an object of array which contains the question string and also the answer string. So we can map this array and bring out each accord and pass it to the data required. So basically basically when we use map, it says I need a return value. So inside map I'm returning a data required file, data required is an callback function present in the faq.js, to which I'm passing this accord and I'm being returned this value, and the value is high, which I'm just taking in this div. Instead of taking high, let me take, so accord has basically questions and answers, right? Let me take question and let me print. Okay, so when I print question, okay, this is quite big, which I don't recommend. When I print question, you can, oh, this is too small, which I too don't recommend. When I take question from the accord and use it in the faq.js and return it, you can just see that instead of high, the question is being printed, the question is being present on the result, server result. So similarly I can also take answer, and in the p tag I'll just say return p tag, it's saying something, set accords as never value. Okay, now so it is saying that JSX must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. So I'll just say div and another div so that it will wrap the entire data. Okay, now we can just see that we have the question as well as we have the answer, but we don't need this. We need like when I go to netflix.com, I need very similar like this. When I click this button, it will go down. When I click this, it will come up. So what I'll do is I'll make a button here, button whose class name is btn, and I'll just say something like btn, and I'll include this to inside a header tag, because my header says its display is flex, because I've made it, due to which it will set the question and both the answer. So sorry, due to which it will set the question and button in the same line, because its display is flex. Oh sorry, div, I'll just say it's an article. I'm sorry, I'm returning an article. Okay, then I have the header, class name as question. So you can just see that the question in my style.css, the question, so I'll just show. Okay, the question has this thing. Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, you can see that the question, the header which is present inside the question, its displays flex, so that we are just going to see the question and the button in the same line. Okay, now I'm going to faq.js. What I'm going to do is I'm defining onClick event, so that when I click this, it will toggle. So for that, I'm declaring a state value, const display and set display. Okay, I'll use state. Currently I'll set it to false. I'll tell you why. Now when I call an onClick event here, onClick, I'm sorry, is equals to okay. Now when I click onClick, when I click this button, it will just say, it will when I just what do you call, click the button here, it will perform the onClick event, which will make this use state as false. So what is the use of making the use state as false? We can make use of this false and true to show our data here. How? So that's very simple. I'll show here. Instead of this, I'll wrap up this. I'll use the curly braces, inside which if the display is true, I'll display my paragraph tag, in which I'll say show my answer. Okay, let me take this. Oh sorry. So I'll just take the onClick event, because I must show you what happens there. Okay, you can see that now there is no functionality to the button, because I have removed the onClick event. But so there is no functionality to the button. Yes, I've clicked the onClick. I've taken the onClick event, but you can see here, since the display value is default false, we are not getting answer, because if the display value is true, we will get the answer. Perhaps if we use something called true, we can just see we get the answer. So what is the logic here? What do we need to do? So when we click this, we have to make this true if this is false. If this is false, then we have to make it true, right? So I'll define an onClick event, which is a callback function, and I'll set the display as, which is the use state values. So since display is basically true, on click of this I'll make it false. Set display false. So that what happens is, when you click this button, oh, I'm sorry, okay, so basically we make it false. True. So when I click this, oh, it's not happening. Why? Okay. Showing. I don't know. So even though there is, okay, so my on click here, C is small. I'm gonna just say this. Okay. Now when I click this button, you can just see that. So the use state value is default false. When I just click this button, so I'll just refresh it. Use state value is default false. When I just click this button, this will make this true, so that here the display value is true, and it will display the answer. Okay, you can just see that. But our display, our main motto is not to only do display, but also take the display. So what you should do, so again when you click this should become false, so that this should not, this should not display. You can see that const display is boolean. Okay, this should not display. So what we can do is, if I click on this set display, if it is already true, we want to make it false. If it is false, we want to make it true. So what I can do is, I can negate the display. Okay, if I negate the display, what happens is, if the display value is true, it will make it false, so that the paragraph is not displayed. If the display value is false, it will make it true, making the display of paragraph. If I just click this, okay, if I just click this, you can see the the paragraph. If I just click this, the paragraph is if I click on this, the paragraph is shown because the use state value is true. If I just click this, but the paragraph is not shown because the use state value is false. So there are no errors, compiled successfully. So basically, I'll try to say again what I've done. So okay, so basically to display this, I have the question and answers. So main data is our question and answers, right? So I have something called Q&A.js, where I am displaying the whole questions with answers as an each object and an array of objects. I am exporting these array of objects to my main app as array questions, which is this default default initialization const name, and from Q&A. Then what I'm doing is, I'm calling the use state and passing this array into a state value, which is natively called as accords. This accords is basically an array of objects. Now we have to iterate through each of the objects. So in return of this function, I'm calling an div which contains an inner div. So inside this inner div, I am taking consideration of each object present in that array by mapping that. So I can just say, since accord is the array which I have initialized, the array questions is basically array which I have set it to the use state value called accords. Now this use state value accords, I have to map that into each single object. So I'm using accords.map, and for each accord, accords contain each accord, right? Basically each accord is an each object present in the present in the array. So for each accord, I'm returning something. Okay, what am I returning? I am returning data required. Basically, data required is a function present, is a callback function. Basically, data required is a callback function which is present at faq.js. faq.js is a file which contains the data required callback function. So what is the actual meaning of this? So I am returning and data required what you call the callback function from the Q&A.js, but after calling this, I'm also passing the everything present, every data present in that object, in the object of Accord, everything present in that Accord into data required, that is basically inside my FAQ.js. And inside this callback function, since I have every data taken from Accord, I'll display it here. I mean, I'll take it from here. Every data, in the sense it has only two datas, one is question and answer for each object. So when I take question and answer, I'll display it here, question and answer. I'll also return it. Basically for each Accord it will display the question and answer, but my motto is not that when I click on this it should show question, and when I again click on this it should not show question. So I'm making a button here and adding an on click event to that button. So basically I have I've used use state, and the use state value is display, which I have natively set as false, so that the the paragraph tag, that is the answer, is not shown. So here is something like this. If I have to show the paragraph tag, I have to check the condition of display. Basically my display is set to false, so that my paragraph tag is not shown, that which contains the answer. So if the display value is true, then my answer is shown. To make that true, on the on click event, I am using the state value. I am declaring the default I am changing the default value false from true by stating that set display as true. So I am not saying set it as true, I am saying that set to the condition which is not the condition of display. So if the display is true, then we are given this, so that when we click this, make it false, so that the paragraph is not taken, not shown. Okay, then we are exporting this data required, which is being returned here. Then we are exporting this default app inside this index.js, then that is being replaced at this index.html in the root section. Now we need something like this, which turns into plus into x and x into plus. So we have something like in the React we have something like React icons. Okay, so we will see plus. So you can just see that when I click on plus, there are many plus available here. One is the AI outline plus. So there are many plus, of course. So you can just use any of this plus just by calling its name with the library that is present. So basically, to use this library, we need to install this library. So how to install this? They have given the installation process. So I'll just quit the development server and install that. npm install react icons and space save. So this will basically install every React icons present in this react icons.github.io into your folder, which contains so many files. So this requires some time. Okay, now I have the React icon saved. To check that, just go into the package JSON and you can just see React icons version 4.2.0 is present in my project application. So I can use this React icons to show my button as plus and wrong. So let the development server start and I'll show you. Yes. Okay, now we have button which makes toggles, but we don't need button. We need something like plus, which turns into the what you call with the plus, which turns into this thing, wrong thing. We can just make that by using the React icons. So we want to surf for the React icons. So I'm just plus. So basically I have AI outline plus, I have BS plus. Let me take BS plus. So how to search for libraries? So you have and design, bootstrap icons, box icons, dev icons, feather, so many library from which you can just fetch the icons. Since I have fetched the BS plus, that belongs to the bootstrap. If I go to BI plus, that belongs to box icons. If I go to the FI plus, that belongs to flat color icon. If I go to FA Google plus, that belongs to font awesome. You can just say that the first two alphabets present in the what you call the name or the description of the icon, that belongs to the library to which it belongs. Okay, so I'll click on BS plus. Okay, and I'll just say import. Now what is this? BS plus wait, plus from, I'm gonna just say React, oh sorry, icons, and this is BS. So it is showing it is failed to compile. So I can just check how to include the React icons. Okay, now I'm getting that BS plus is defined but never used. So instead of button, I can use something called BS plus. BS plus. Oh, sorry. Okay, I should enclose it in the flower braces. I don't know why it's not coming out. BS plus, right? It's BS plus, like BS plus. Okay, when I just do that, you can see that a plus is being present here. But also when I make this, this should become a wrong mark, so that I'll display my button name according to the conditionals. So I'll call a condition here. If the display is true, then I will show a wrong symbol. If I go to the bootstrap icons, I have something called BSX. I'll take it here. BS and X. Okay, so if the display is true, I'm just going to display something called BSX, which will make it false. If the display is false, I will make it to display BS plus, which will make it true. Okay, BS, sorry, if it is true, then I'll display this. Okay, if it is false, then I'll display BS plus. Okay, now you can see that this is false, so it is displays false, so it is showing the BS plus. The display is true, so it is showing the wrong mark. So this is how you build a simple FAQ section using React.js and React.js icons. I mean reacticons.org. So this is how simple to build out an Accordion section, and in this section the CSS file that I've used is from Johnny Smilga. I got it the GitHub repo, which I found was pretty interesting because I can see that the UI section is quite cool. I got it, so thanks for the Johnny Smilga. Then this is how you make a simple accordion section or FAQ section using the React.js. Now we can just say, we can terminate and just say npm run build. Okay, now I have my build done, and there is something like the build which contain the static files and everything. I can deploy it in Netlify, netlify.com, and I'm just going to log in. And sites, I'll just drag and drop this file. I'll just drag and drop this build to here. So if I just make this, so now you can see that our app has been deployed to the Netlify, and I'm just going to make this as change the site name, and let me call this Accordion save. Okay, Accordion React. Okay, React.js. Okay, let us just see what is accordion.netlify.app, and accordion.
I'd love to help,
Oh.
but you.
Oh, this is same as this, but this doesn't make true and also false, but this only makes true. If that is accordion, then this also. This doesn't make false, but this only makes true. But our thing makes both true and also true and also false. Okay, this is how you build a simple accordion application, or like you build a simple FAQ to your application using React.js. If you find this interesting, then don't miss to hit a like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Okay, thank you.